Hello and welcome to another episode of Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Tammy, our volunteer, is animal wrangling for us again this week, and our first guest is Athena. Recently, people have been commenting that we have a lot of pit bulls on the adoption floor, and we do often have a lot of those pit bull mixes. But today we're going to showcase some of the different breeds that we have for you, and Athena is one of those. She is a Rottweiler. She is about 2.5 to 3 years old, and she is the sweetest. Sometimes we talk about our color coding, and so the colors for that are going to be blue, then we go to orange, then yellow, green, and purple. And Athena is one of our blue color-coded animals. So blue here is going to be really easygoing, really mellow. People often think of blue as kind of a calming, cool color. These animals are going to be calm, cool, and collected. And Athena definitely fits that to a T. As you see, she's been very calm on the show. She's very relaxed. She takes toys very gently. She's still kind of figuring out how to play with them, but this is kind of how she is all the time. You walk by her kennel, she'll come up to the front and greet you, but she's comfortable in her bed, she's going to hang out there as well. In addition to being calm, cool, and collected, we have behavior assessed Athena, and we have noticed that she is a little bit shy and nervous around new people, but it just takes her a short amount of time, and then she warms up and she's just a big love. She's very comfortable with Tammy, and she's loving all of the pets and rubs and scratches that she's been getting from her. And it really didn't take her that long to warm up to our cameraman, who is somebody that she's never met before either. So in our behavior assessment, we've seen that Athena keeps her kennel pretty clean. She's easy to obtain. She has no reaction when she's interacting with other dogs. Aside from that fact that she can be a little bit shy, she's going to be easy to incorporate into a family. She doesn't really have issues with food aggression. She wasn't really interested in any of the toys, so she didn't really have an issue with guarding. And she really likes affection. She likes to be petted. So if you're interested in adding this sweet girl to your family, the first step is to stop in and visit her, and you can visit her at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next guest is equally as affectionate as Athena is, maybe even a little bit more so. This is Miley, and Miley is just a big puppy. She's about 8 months old, and she's that beautiful brindle color, and this is kind of what Miley wants to do. She wants to give kisses and get hugs, and she thinks that she's a lap dog. So if you're looking for somebody to keep you warm through the remainder of the winter, Miley would definitely be happy to do that. As you can see, she's very happy right now. She's got that crazy tail going. She's a big, playful dog who just needs a lot of love and a lot of attention. Like many of our pit bulls, she is going to need more time to exercise, more time outside. So that's something that you need to consider. She's not going to necessarily be a couch potato all the time. And because she is still a puppy, she's still going to require a fair amount of training. She already knows sit, but she will need work with things like house training we've noticed here. Even though her previous owner says that she's crate trained, she's not yet house trained. She has lived with many other dogs. It looks like 4 other dogs. So if you have another dog in your home and you're looking to add another one, Miley would be a great fit because she gets along with most other dogs. We haven't really seen any issues here with her behavior with other dogs. She can pull, but she reacts favorably when she sees other dogs. So the tail wagging, the calm demeanor, she's interested. As you can see, she's interested in toys. She's very playful. If you're looking for a dog that's going to run out in the yard and play with your kids, then Miley might be one of a good fit for you. She willingly lets go of objects, no issues with food aggression. She, as you've seen on the show today, she loves affection. She loves to be petted and cuddled. And she has that energy, and she's a little bit of strength to her, so she does pull a little bit on her leash. So all you need is just a good harness. Harnesses are always good for any dog, but the bigger and stronger your dog is, the better it is. And also they're really good for small dogs because small dogs can slip out of their collars very easily. So other things that we know about Miley, she's used to being given baths, vet checks, but she does have a lot of those puppy things where she still barks a lot, she can dig and chew. So it's just going to require a little work on her new owner's part to train her what's appropriate to chew on, where it's appropriate to dig, those types of things. All of our puppies here are adopted through our puppy process, which means we take up to 4 applications for them and choose the best fit for the dog. Our puppies are also adopted for a fee of $150. If you are interested in meeting with Miley, stop in at the shelter. We are open to the public 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Our next guest is Jack, and he is a husky. He is about 10 to 12 months old, and he came to us as a stray, so we don't really know a lot about him other than what we've found out here in the shelter. Like a lot of our huskies, we have him down as husky or similar breed experience required. He's also going to be adopted through our puppy process, just like Miley. So the puppy process, again, means that we take up to 4 applications and choose the best fit for the dog. The reason that we require husky experience or a similar breed experience is because sometimes huskies can be a little bit stubborn. They can be hard to train. So by giving them someone as an owner that's experienced, they know how to handle the breed and all of their quirks. It makes them more easy to be social out in public with other animals, different things like that. So we're not trying to be difficult. We're just trying to find the best possible homes for the dogs and to make all of our adopters' families safe as well. In our behavior assessment that we've done for Jack, we found that he doesn't really keep his kennel clean, so he will need some work on house training, but he's very friendly. He's very excited when you approach his kennel. He does react negatively to dogs walking past him in the kennel, whether he's walking past them or they're walking past him, with the barking, the growling, those types of things. So that's something that you should be aware of. Again, we always request that people do dog-to-dog meet and greets before they decide to adopt a dog. That gives you an indication of how things will go, so that you can figure out if it's something that you can work with or it's something that's just really not going to work at all. We've had several meet and greets recently where people just, it was kind of a mutual decision between our staff and the potential adopter that these dogs aren't going to get along. So that's going to be better for all the parties involved. He, again, has no issues with food aggression that we are aware of because we were unable to test him. He wasn't interested in the food, but he willingly gives up objects when he's asked. He leans in and he enjoys being petted and he becomes playfully aroused. He's just a sweet guy, but he does have all of those kind of husky breed quirks, so it's something that you should be prepared for. If you're interested in Jack and you meet all of those requirements that we have for him, you can stop in and visit with him. Our hours for the kennels are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, on Wednesday and Thursday 12 to 8, and on Saturday 10 to 4. Kevin is our next guest, and he's another one of our pit mixes, and he's been with us for a little while now. He came in the end of November. He went onto the adoption floor mid-December, and he still hasn't found that special family for him. Like many of our pit mixes, again, he's kind of got more of the higher energy. He's color-coded green, which in our book here means go, go, go. They have lots of energy. They have strength. So it's just something that you need to make sure that you're prepared to take on. But again, they have a sweet side. As you can see, he's happy to get lots of love and attention from Tammy. He likes to play with his toys. He likes to go out on walks. We have, again, done a behavior assessment with him. He's about 2 years old, and he was previously owned. He came in with the name Kevin, so he does know his name, but he needs work on his house training as well. He's very friendly. When he's in his kennel and another dog walks past, he's got no reaction. He's not really interested. When he's walking through the kennel past the other dogs and things like that, he's a little difficult to walk. He has no issues with food aggression. We were unable to test him for guarding because he wasn't interested in the object. But overall, he's got a pretty good behavior assessment. He just has some things that he needs to work on, which, most dogs have little things here and there that they need to work on. We have taken Kevin out. Our volunteers have been using him a lot for their parallel walks. So he's been getting to know some of the other dogs on the shelter adoption floor. Dimitri in particular, they go out and walk together. While Kevin is very interested and wants to interact with Dimitri, Dimitri's not as interested in him. But there haven't really been any issues with the two of them interacting. So he does pretty well with the other dogs. Again, doing dog to dogs is what our recommendation would be. As you can see, he knows sit, he knows paw, so he's got some good basics. It's all about finding what motivates the dog so that you can train him using, his best motivator. Some dogs are very food motivated and they like those treats. Other dogs are toy motivated. They want you to throw the ball for them or a toy, so they'll do what you need them to do to get those toys. If you're interested in Kevin here, you can make him part of your family by stopping by to visit us. If you want to check on his application status before visiting the shelter, you can give us a call. Our number is 301-600-1546. The last dog that we have for you today is Snoopy. I know, it's very original, a beagle named Snoopy. He's one of our senior dogs here at Frederick County Animal Control. He's about 10 years old, and he is also one of our blue color-coded dogs. He's very mellow, kind of what you see is what you get with Snoopy here. He's not very interested in toys, but he likes to go out and explore just like a beagle. He likes to sniff stuff, wander around, and he's gonna make a great pet for someone. He's easy to deal with. He's pretty easy to obtain. He can pull a little bit, but he keeps his kennel pretty clean. He's no issues with food aggression. Not really interested in toys. Likes to be petted. He has no reaction with other dogs. So he's just a sweet older guy who's very mellow, easygoing. But like a lot of our older animals, they do sometimes come with medical things that are going to need to be monitored more closely than maybe some things that younger dogs would have to deal with. So Snoopy here does have a grade 3 of 6 heart murmur, which is something that you would want to have your vet monitor. Not all dogs with heart murmurs have that murmur develop into heart disease. It's just something that you need to keep an eye on. He also, as you might notice, has some lumps and bumps that will need to be checked on. Some of them are just skin tags. Some of them are other things that are, benign little lumps and bumps. But again, something that your vet would need to monitor to make sure that they stay that way. And one of the easiest things to see about Snoopy is that he is a bit overweight. So it's really important to talk to your vet about how to get him on a good diet and exercise plan. You do not want animals to lose weight too rapidly because that can be problematic as well. But as an older dog, sometimes older animals develop arthritis and things like that. And if they're carrying around a lot of extra weight, that can be more difficult for them. So talking to your vet about how to measure out his food and how to change that and get him on that good diet plan, making sure you're feeding him a good quality of food as well, so that he doesn't have to eat as much to get the calories that he needs. But then also making sure that he's going out for walks and things like that. But if you're interested in Snoopy, he is a senior at 10 years old, so he does qualify for our senior discount. So instead of being $92.50, Snoopy here would go home for an adoption fee of $40 off, which would make him $52.50. You can stop by and visit him here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. So that's going to wrap it up for this portion of the show. If you stay tuned after the break, we'll introduce you to 5 of the cats that are looking for forever homes and 2 of Snoopy's friends, Oreo and Chewy.
Did you know that paper towels, as well as disposable cups, plates, and cutlery, are not recyclable? Not even styrofoam coffee cups or fast food soda cups that may have a so-called recycling symbol stamped on the bottom. In our region, there is no market for these materials to be sold and made into new products, so please leave them out of your recycling cart or bin. Better yet, whenever possible, try to use reusable cups and servingware. More information on recycling and waste reduction can be found online, on our mobile app, or by calling our office. Thanks for helping Frederick County recycle right.
Welcome back. Our first guest is a beauty, and her name is, in fact, Beauty. She's about 6 to 8 years old, and she was previously owned. She came to us because the owner was having some family medical issues, and they were unable to keep her. So they did what was best for her and brought her to us so that we could find her another home that would be able to care for her and give her all the time and love that she truly deserves. Beauty is a beautiful cat. She's a domestic medium hair. She's got that great, pattern on her face, markings on her face. But something that you might notice when you see her a little closer is that she could use some grooming. Some animals are very good about grooming themselves, and some animals need help. And Beauty needs a little bit of help with her grooming. So when you look at her, you will see that she has some kind of shaved spots, some spots where she doesn't have as much hair as others because she was matted when she came in. And those mats can be very painful. They can pull on the skin, and it can be really irritating for the animals. So we went ahead and cut those off to provide her with some comfort. But when you get her home, it will be very important for you to brush her on a regular basis and to get her regular grooming, just because she's not able to do it as well as some of the other longer-haired cats. So she seems to be pretty at ease. So a lot of times brushing an animal is something that they enjoy. It's a good, bonding experience for the animals. And if she's, one of those animals that seriously hates it, then a groomer is always a good option because they can take care of that for you. Talk to your vet about best places to go and things like that, just to make sure that she's staying nice and clean and healthy. Sometimes it's something that develops with age, and sometimes it's just something that's kind of always there. Things that we know about Beauty. She has lived with dogs previously. She says she gets along with dogs. So if you're looking to add a feline to your home, she might be a good fit for your house, a good candidate. It does say that she's a little bit shy and that she's afraid of strangers. So when you're taking her home, it might take her a minute to warm up to your house, a little bit longer than maybe more of the outgoing cats that we've had on the show in the past. She might be one that's going to be more likely to hide when you have friends and family over, things like that. But that's not an unusual cat characteristic. They didn't really tell us anything else about her except for that she was independent. She was an indoor-only cat, and she did claw some furniture. And most cats are going to claw furniture if you don't provide them with adequate scratching materials. It's part of their natural instinct. They're marking their territory, they're stretching. Territory is very, very important for cats, so it's good to have something for them to mark and make their own and to take ownership of. If you are interested in her, again, you want to stop by and visit with her here at the shelter. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. We mentioned in the dog portion of our show that Snoopy had a couple of feline friends, and this is one of his friends here. This is Oreo, and she's about 5 to 6 years old. We are showing you a lot of our long-haired animals today. So she is a domestic long-hair. She's a brown tabby with white. So just like we were talking about with Beauty, she's going to need a little bit more grooming than a short-haired cat. It's good to always, occasionally brush any of your cats, but the long-haired, medium-haired cats do require more grooming on your part as their owner. Instead of doing it maybe once a week, you need to do it 2 to 3 times a week just to make sure they stay where they're not getting matted, they're nice and clean, things like that. We did find a few small mats on Oreo, but not as many as we found on Beauty. So just something to keep in mind. If you can't commit to giving them the brushing and the grooming maintenance that they need, you can't afford to take them to the groomer themselves, then maybe a long-haired cat is not going to be the best option for you. So just like we were talking about with Snoopy, these guys came to us because their owner was moving, so it's through no fault of their own. There's not any issues that were coming up with them. When you're looking at Oreo, you may notice that one of her eyes is a little different than the other. We did note that she had an old injury on her right eye. There's no treatment needed, so it's just something that's going to be there. Sometimes it's a little discoloration, things like that, a little cloudy, but it's nothing that bothers her. Another thing that we have noted is that she's a little overweight, so a good, again, a diet plan would be helpful for her. when you're exercising cats, it's, as simple as playing with the laser pointer, playing with feather toys, which is something that her previous owners indicated that she did enjoy and that she liked. So spending a good 15 minutes a day with your cats, just playing with them, gives them that mental stimulation that they need. Something that I recently learned, when you're playing with them and they're just watching it and they're not really actively engaging with it, you think, well, they're done playing, I'm going to stop interacting with them in that way. But they're hunters, and so the stalking, the watching is just as important as the actual attacking of the toy. So just spending, a good quality amount of time giving them that exercise and mental stimulation that they need is going to be an important part of making sure that they're, healthy and happy. If you're interested in adding Oreo here to your family, she again is in that 5 to 6 range, which means she qualifies for our senior discount. So she would be adopted for a fee of $77.50. Usually we have primarily domestic breeds of cats, domestic short hair, medium hair, and long hair. But Chewy here is something a little different. He is a Himalayan mix, and he's about 5 to 6 years old as well. He has a beautiful color pattern. He is a lynx point. He's got those great blue eyes. He's just a very, very handsome guy. And he's another one of those long-haired cats that will require a little bit more grooming on the owner's part, just to make sure that he's not getting, again, those painful mats for him. Chewy was not doing well when he first arrived. He didn't really want to eat, so we medicated him for that and gave him some things to stimulate his appetite. And now he's on the adoption floor. We found a food that he likes. So a lot of cats, when they get stressed, sometimes they stop eating. So when you're taking home a new animal, in your mind, you're just going home, but to them, you're going to just another new place that they're unfamiliar with. So that can be a stressful situation for them. It's not going to be as stressful as maybe the shelter because there's less noises, less people, less smells, but it can still be a stressful situation. So sometimes they might have issues not eating. It's kind of important to find different foods that they'll like to eat. When animals aren't eating here, we kind of give them lots of options and figure out which one they like to eat. Also, using wet food can be good as an appetite stimulant, getting some of that nice smelly wet food that encourages them to eat. Then once they start eating, then they might dig into that dry food a little bit more. Another thing that some cats is social eaters. I don't think that's the case with Chewy here, but some animals on the adoption floor, especially our Shire ones, have been known to be social eaters, which means that, like most people, we don't want to go and dine alone in a restaurant. Our cat friends don't want to dine alone either. So just hanging out with them, petting them, encouraging them to eat. Sometimes it's just you're petting them and you lift up their bowl and shake it, and then they're like, oh, there's food in there, let me eat that. So there's lots of different things that you can try if your animal is having difficulty eating. If it goes on for an extended period of time, then you definitely want to start making plans to see your vet so that you can make sure that they're not going to have any negative health effects from that lack of appetite. But if you're interested in Chewy, again, he is another senior on the show today, so he would go home for that adoption fee of $77.50. Your first step would be to stop in and visit at the shelter. If you wanted to see what his status was before coming in, you could call the shelter at 301-600-1546, or you can check on our Facebook page. We generally post when animals are full on applications or when they're scheduled for adoption in our pending adoptions album. We mentioned that we had a new color coding system and that yellow was for the shy cats, and Cassidy is one of those yellow color coded cats. She's very sweet, very affectionate. She's just a little shy, and she has every right to be. She came to us, unfortunately, because her owner passed away. So that happens from time to time. It's a reminder for all of us to make sure that we're including our pets in our arrangements. When we're figuring out, what we're going to do when we're making our wills, it's also important not just to figure out what you're going to do with your children and your house and all of your other property, but what to do with your animals as well. Having a plan in place for someone who's going to take them in so that overwhelmed family don't feel like they need to bring them here to the shelter. Obviously, if you have no one that can take in your animals, or you're unable to care for an animal that's been left to you, we would prefer that you bring them to us so that we can find them another loving home and provide them with all the care that they need in a safe and loving environment here at Animal Control. Cassidy is about 6 to 8 months old, so she's just a little kitten, but she's not going to be necessarily doing all the crazy running around at first that most kittens do, because she is shy. She is making great progress here in the shelter. You know, she went in just a couple of days' time from staying underneath her hammock in her bed all the time to, you know, being out in the more front of her cage. And you know, she's happy to have visitors. What she's doing right now is kind of what she wants to do. She wants to be petted and loved on. She's easy and quick to purr. She starts kneading. She even drools a little bit when she's in that mode of like super relaxed and comfortable. She will roll over. She will show you her belly. Again, with cats, not always an indication to touch, but she's very comfortable with people in just a short amount of time. However, if you try to pull her out of her cage, she doesn't always enjoy that. So something for volunteers and potential adopters to know when you're visiting with Cassidy, she loves the attention, but while she's getting used to you, she doesn't necessarily want you to pull her out and pick her up and hold her. Here in the shelter, their cages where they spend most of their time are their safe zones. It's where they feel comfortable. If you take them out of that, especially when they're shy, they start to feel a little bit nervous. Once she gets into a home environment, she might feel more safe and start to blossom and be more of a traditional kitten running around. But her sweet and kind of mild demeanor kind of lets me know that she might be more into being the lap cat in a nice quiet home. The last guest that we have for you today is one of our longtime residents. This is Wizard. He first arrived in the shelter on October 1st, and he's still with us looking for his forever home. At the time he came in, he was still a kitten at about 9 to 11 months old, but now he's reached that 1-year mark, and he's, you know, just a nice young adult cat. Things that I really like about Wizard is I love his face. It's very round. He kind of has that forever kitten face. And he's one of our smaller cats, you know, at about 7 pounds. So he's a nice little petite guy. He came to us as a stray, so we're still figuring things out about Wizard. He's kind of an easygoing, calm cat, but he does have a very shy side to him as well. So, you know, even though he's not color-coded yellow, that's something where, you know, he is going to require a little bit more patience on his new owner's behalf. He's not as outgoing. He doesn't really come right to the front of his cage and ask for attention. But as you can see, he's going to make someone a very nice, affectionate lap cat. You know, he just kind of keeps getting overlooked, and that's partially due to the fact that he's not super outgoing. You walk by his cage right now, he's usually just hanging out on his bed, super chill, relaxed, watching the world go by. But when you take the time to engage these animals, the shy cats, that's when they start to show you their true personalities. They get to know you, they feel comfortable. They start to show you, like with Cassidy, that she likes to roll over on her belly and she drools and things like that. So by spending a little bit of time with Wizard, you can discover those things as well. If you're interested in Wizard, you can stop in and visit with him here at the shelter, again, Monday through Saturday. Wizard is part of our January promotion, so if you were to adopt him, you would get a $20 reduction in your adoption fee for that. He is also part of our Colonial Jewelers Diamond in the Rough program, so you would get an additional $20 off for that as well if you were to adopt him during the month of January. That's our show for today. We hope that you enjoyed seeing some of the animals that are available for adoption here at Animal Control. If you tune in next week, we'll introduce you to some of the other animals that we have waiting for forever homes here at our shelter.